So listen, I am still high on caffeine and overload from that epic and stunning Boba Fett and throne announcement from Hot Toys. Are you kidding me? Is it possible they're going to blow us away again within the next several weeks here? And I say yes. We're going to get into that a little bit later within this episode. And then also we're going to be talking about all the ups and all the downs within the secondary market for Star Wars Hot Toys. I'm telling you, with all this news, I'm going to spill my coffee, baby. Let's dive into it right now. All right, and welcome to another episode of the Market Value Chart Show right here at 6 Scale Cantina. So, wow, I am still rocking and a rolling and a reeling from that Boba Fett and throne announcement. I can't wait to touch on a little bit about that later within this episode and what is going to be coming out next. Is it possible that I heard from the Hot Toys Wizard? We'll have to get into it a little bit later in this episode. But I am telling you, there is a ton going on within the secondary market for Star Wars Hot Toys and some very, very interesting trends. And we're going to be getting into that first. And I absolutely can't wait to dive into that. So, live and raw will be the next time that I am live with the Market Value Chart Show. I was going to attempt to do it this past Sunday, but that did not work out. But this coming Sunday, July 25th, is it possible that the Dark Jedi, Ares Tarrington, will be live and raw? And I say yes. I absolutely will. This coming Sunday, July 25th at 8 p.m. Eastern, I really look forward to having you as all the panel members on Live and Raw. And is it possible I'll be throwing at you all kinds of crazy, outrageous, ridiculous possibilities? You're going to have to tune in to find out. And a lot of those are going to be not as ridiculous as you may think. I'm also going to be live this Friday on Dante's The Man of Hot Collectibles live show this coming Friday at 9 p.m. Eastern. It will be his turn. I'm looking forward to that very, very much as well. And if you missed my last live show from this past Friday, you absolutely have to give that a watch. What an absolutely fun time we had on that live episode. So if you haven't checked it out, go check it out. I really think you will enjoy it. But listen, let's go ahead and jump to 6scalecantina.com and see exactly what is going on within the biggest mover section and also with any market alerts. So as we do with every episode of the Market Value Chart Show Market Outlook Edition, we go to 6scalecantina.com and see exactly what is going on. So if you don't have 6 Scale Cantina bookmarked yet, 6scalecantina.com, you absolutely want to do that. Not only does it have a lot of the latest shows, direct links right to there so you could go check them out, and perhaps some of the ones that you missed. But we also have the latest Star Wars Hot Toys news that's usually seen right away on the homepage, right with the market alert. And you could take a look scrolling right down over here. You have Finn Stormtrooper trending down. Wow, it is trended below the $300 tier range. And then scrolling down behind that, under that, the 40th anniversary Empire Strikes Back Boba Fett skyrockets right out of waitlist to $328 on the market value chart right here at 6scalecantina.com. Wow. And then the Heavy Infantry Mandalorian has now trended below the $400 tier range. What's going on with that figure? We'll be jumping into that in just a second over here. And also, Kylo Ren, The Last Jedi, sinks fast into the $200 tier range. We're going to be getting into that in just a moment as well. And The Last Jedi Leia is now on the move. And very interesting about that, we're going to be getting into The Last Jedi Leia, including Han Solo and Chewbacca from The Force Awakens. And actually, all of the legacy characters, Han, Chewie, Luke, and Leia from the sequel trilogy. What is the long-term outlook for those figures? I absolutely cannot wait to dive into that with you within this episode for sure. And of course, Leia Bespin along with Leia Endor are on fire, and that Leia and Wicket 2-pack is really starting to be on the move, trending up. So that is what's going on here. When you scroll down to the biggest mover section, you see a lot of these figures, a lot of things that are showcased here, including, you could see The Last Jedi Kylo Ren, number one in a downtrended way. Bespin Leia up there, number 2. Boba Fett, the 40th anniversary, Empire Strikes Back reissue of the deluxe edition. Boba Fett, Return of the Jedi. We're going to be getting into that. Finn sinking down. Of course, you got Luke. Luke is just on fire. Is it possible that is the figure, Luke Skywalker from the season finale of The Mandalorian Season 2, that is the figure that we are all anticipating? Now, if you didn't watch my last live episode from this past Friday, you absolutely want to check that out. We dove into that a little bit with the panel guests. But I'm telling you right now, this release is going to break the internet once it happens. And it's going to happen real quick, fast, in a hurry. And you see right here also in the biggest mover section, Heavy Infantry Mandalorian trending down, Leia the Last Jedi trending up, and of course there is Luke again. Luke is just on fire no matter what figure it actually is. It's really not just the Luke Skywalker, the Jedi Master Luke Skywalker from Return of the Jedi, or the Endor Lukes. It's all the Lukes. The sequel Lukes, the A New Hope Lukes, the Luke Stormtrooper from A New Hope. All the Lukes are on the move. And it's going to be very interesting to dive into that. But let's go ahead here and start with Kylo Ren. I'm going to go ahead and bring up some recent data for Kylo onto the screen. And you can see right here, as I pull this up, this is a current listing. This listing is live right now with somebody with very, very good feedback, a lot of feedback, and then also 100% positive. And $299, buy it now with free shipping. And it does have 9 watchers. And very, very interesting. I haven't seen this with this figure for forever and a day. Let's go to another Kylo Ren. And this is a current listing right now, as of this recording. I'm pulling this up onto the screen for The Last Jedi Kylo Ren. You can see back here from July 8th, $298 with 16 bids, not including the $16.99 in shipping, not including taxes. Again, a very, very reputable seller with over 500 feedback, all 100% positive. So you have to wonder, what exactly is going on with The Last Jedi Kylo Ren? Because you're absolutely 1000% not seeing this with the Rey from The Force Awakens or The Last Jedi in any way, shape, or form. And is it possible that this Last Jedi Kylo is going to continue to sink within the $200 tier range? And there's some variables we have to look at before we go ahead and make that determination. But I'm telling you right now that it has a lot to do with this rise of Skywalker, Kylo Ren. And with virtually almost essentially the same outfit in all three of the sequel trilogy movies. I think that that has a part to play as to why that last Jedi Kylo is sinking down currently, because you can go ahead and get this Kylo Ren, the Rise of Skywalker Kylo Ren, and as you can see here with this screen, this is my figure, with that light up helmet, which really, really is a great addition, and also this cape, like the first edition, which actually has the cloak that can go over his head and magnetizes onto the collar here. I think that because the outfit is essentially almost the same, except for, a little bit, tiny little bit really with the hairstyles. But, obviously that helmet, which I think it actually looks even more rougher and tougher with all that lava putting it together. This may just be the copy. Because when The Last Jedi Kylo Ren came out, it really sunk the first Force Awakens Kylo Ren down within the secondary market, because this one came with a head sculpt. So I think that that's part of it for sure. But let's go ahead and actually see exactly where the Last Jedi Kylo Ren is sitting within the market value chart at 6scalecantina.com. Remember, whenever you navigate to the market value chart, go to the current value column. There's an arrow within there. Click that a couple times. So you get the highest ranked figures to the lowest ranked figures, and then you could scroll down and get it that way. You could also just type in Kylo, which is what I'm going to do. I'm going to type in Kylo so that Kylo comes up. And, you could see right here on the screen that Kylo Ren from The Last Jedi, MMS 438, is now trending down more. It is now $325 and sinking. Remember, this figure was about at the $425, maybe $450 range, just about a month ago. And it's really starting to sink down. So you have to wonder really what's going on over here. Because when you look up Rey, Rey is having the total opposite effect. The Rey Jedi Last Training is on the move up at $355 and rising. The Rey and BB-8, $314 and rising. Rey Resistance, $284 and rising. So, what is going on, with this particular figure? And again, I really think that what's going on here is you have the Rise of Skywalker Kylo Ren, which has, the extra helmet functions, and it has the cloak on the cape, but otherwise it's really the same costume. It does have a different sculpt, and I don't necessarily think that right now there may be some collectors that don't need every single copy of Kylo Ren, like they would, want every single copy of Boba Fett. There's going to be some that want it. And I think when it comes to Rey has so many different costumes that, it makes maybe more sense. I think that that's what's going on. But what about the long term for The Last Jedi Kylo Ren? Is this going to continue to be a figure that sinks into the $200 tier range? And I don't think so. I think that this is temporary. Once the Rise of Skywalker Kylo Ren goes on waitlist and that figure starts to rise, I think that at the end of the day, The Last Jedi Kylo Ren will somewhere settle within the mid $300 tier range. Is it possible it can get back up there close to $400? And it all depends on what Jon Favreau and Dave Filoni do with how they're tying in the sequel trilogy to all the upcoming content that they're doing on Disney+. And I believe that they are going to use Adam Driver in some ways, shapes, and forms. And whatever they do, if they retcon some things or tie some things in or explore into expanded universes, we talked about that on the last live episode here of the Market Value Chart Show, again, from this past Friday. And I think it's very, very possible. And then that figure, I believe, is going to be somewhere between a mid $300 tier range figure and a $400, low $400 tier range figure. Again, this Kylo Ren is absolutely sick. I I, I did an unboxing of this. You know, some of you that are Cantina insiders, I put up a lot of these unboxing videos that are so. It's just really my reaction. I'm not good at these unboxings, or that's why I don't do reviews. There's so many channels that are good at that. I'm just, but I absolutely loved this figure, and I was really happy that I didn't. I really had to hold out and exercise patience because I really wanted a Kylo Ren within my collection, and for me, I don't need multiple Kylo Rens. If I'm able to get that Kylo Ren, the Last Jedi one within the secondary market for a really, really good price, like, mid 200s, maybe low, I would pick it up. The first one, without the head sculpt now, I mean, really, I could just use this version or the last version to do that. And I think that that's what's going on with this figure. And I think Rey, because of the difference in costumes, that's what's going on over there for sure. But very, very interesting indeed. Let's go ahead and go back to 6scalecantina.com. And, while we're here at the market value chart, let's actually, one of the figures that I wanted to dive into was the 40th Fett. So let me actually just type in here. So a lot of you didn't even know that in that space you could type in some of the names of the figures. And, right here I typed in 40th without even getting to Fett, or, you got Darth Vader ESB 40th and Boba Fett ESB Deluxe 40th. So you can see right here, $328 and rising. And it just went on waitlist last week. And I said that this was not going to make it out of the summer. And certainly here, basically last week in the middle of July, that's it. So that's it for this figure. And $328 out of the bat. Let's go to some data here that I can pull up for you for this particular figure. So right now, pulling up on the screen, you could see a current auction with 2 days left, $286 with 5 bids, 28 watchers, not including shipping, not including taxes. So that's one right there. Let's go ahead and go to some other stuff with the 40th Fett. You can see here a listing for the 40th anniversary Boba Fett. Already you're seeing these listings, $439.99, trying to go back to where it was, or close to where it was before they went ahead and now, had this in stock, and announced this, this was getting reissued. It's not quite there yet. This listing is high, but you're seeing a ton of them. I do believe that this figure will be a $500 tier range figure, but you're getting these listings all over the place. And pulling up something else, here's more of really where it is, and bringing up, $375 listing, and a very reputable seller, Hawk Wars Toys, over 1,100 feedback, all 100% positive. And this is more down to where this is right now within the secondary market, $375. And really, the average we have that I pulled up over there is just the average, calculating is where it was at retail and where it's going. But, right now I'm telling you, let's pull up another one. Let's pull up another one here. Let's actually pull up, instead of pulling up another one, let's actually pull up this particular figure here. Boba Fett, Return of the Jedi. Because I'm going to tie this all in now. The Empire Strikes Back versions and the Return of the Jedi versions. So, this just sold back on July 17th. This is the non-deluxe for $309.99, not including the $16, near $16 in shipping, and not including taxes. Now, just I was telling you the last couple of weeks, and I'm going to pull this up. Here's a Return of the Jedi Fett that sold back on July 9th with 36 bits, $267. Not including the $20 in shipping, not including taxes, but $267. And another seller with incredible feedback, over 1,500, absolutely 100% all positive. So, it was really selling within the $200 tier range. And as soon as that 40th anniversary Empire Strikes Back Boba Fett hit waitlist, not only did that figure skyrocket all the way up to $328 and rising, the Return of the Jedi versions now, just as I predicted and warned, are starting to rise as well. So if you were in the market for either of these Fetts, your best bet right now, keep an eye on eBay. So right now, the buy-sell groups have some of these figures at very reasonable prices at the moment, because they're so new at the moment. But it's going to be out of range very, very, very soon. And really, with these particular Boba Fetts, and let's go ahead and actually pull up. Here is the 40th anniversary Boba Fett from the Empire Strikes Back Deluxe, the reissue here that just went on waitlist. And this is a absolutely stunning figure. And for me, the fact that they reissued this made me spill my coffee, baby, because otherwise I would have had to spend, 500 somewhat dollars for this deluxe version of the Empire Strikes Back Boba Fett. But this figure is very, very quickly going to be a $400 tier range figure that rises. It's already a $328 tier range figure, and really selling for around $350 right now, $375. And that value at where it is right now in the market value chart is going to continue to rise as more data comes in. It's not selling for many of the listings that have it for, 400 plus or 450 plus, but you know what? Those listings are predicting the future, because that's where it's going to be. That's where it's going to be. And you have to wonder, what about these, is it over? Is it now we're not going to be able to get a Return of the Jedi non-deluxe Boba Fett for $267? Is it possible that the little bit that this was available for that is over? And I say yes. Look, you can find one right now. I would jump all over this figure if you can get one that's within your budget, because it is going to rise and rise and rise. And you see all the excitement right now with that Boba Fett in the throne, which has actually catapulted the deluxe Boba Fett, the 2-figure set from The Mandalorian that came out that also broke the internet. It's starting to elevate that figure as well, that figure. And both of those are pretty pricey. And I'm telling you, as we get closer to the Book of Boba Fett, and as the Disney hype machine for that particular series starts to really pump out a lot of marketing for that upcoming show on Disney Plus, you can bet your bottom dollar that these Boba Fetts, these iconic looks of Boba Fett from The Empire Strikes Back and Return of the Jedi, are going to continue to just rise and rise within the secondary market. How high will they go? Well, we'll certainly have to keep an eye on it for sure. Let's go ahead and go back to 6scalecantina.com. So let's go back to the market value chart actually at 6scalecantina.com. And since we're going to go look at what's going on with the heavy infantry Mandalorian, let's actually just type in the word heavy within the market value chart little search box there. And you can see that everything marked heavy for Star Wars Hot Toys comes out. And look what's up here on the screen. I highlighted it. TMS 010, the Heavy Infantry Mandalorian. Now $395 and trending down. Remember, this was just at 444 or so and trending up. But I was seeing signs that this was starting to wither a little bit. Now, let me bring up some data on the Heavy Infantry Mandalorian. So, first things first. Let's pull this up on the screen. And you can see right here, $375 this listing sold. Very reputable seller. And you can see right here, probably took, $370 or maybe $365, for this particular figure, which is about really where it is right now within the secondary market, especially, within eBay, and especially if it's brand new and not open. Let's pull up some more on the Heavy Infantry Mandalorian. And pulling this up on the screen. And you can see back from even, towards the end of June 23rd, 23 bids, $365. Another very reputable seller with 100% feedback and almost at 400 feedback. And about $365, about $375 is where this is selling right now within the secondary market. If you're looking for one, I certainly do recommend looking right now on some of the buy-sell groups. Sometimes you get even better deals, or you can even find better deals on eBay. It's a crapshoot. You just have to see. But what is going on with this particular figure? Why did it suddenly trend down, and why is it now, trending down and continuing to trend down at $395 and sinking? So, this particular figure is I absolutely love this figure for sure. And let's see if I can, there you go, pulling that up on the screen. I am so happy, just like I was with that IG-11, which I unboxed as well. And like I said, I'm I'm not that good at these unboxings, but if you're interested in my crazy Star Wars freakazoid reaction, you may want to consider becoming a Cantina insider, for some of that fun stuff, besides all the heightened analysis that, I put into. We have a lot of that as well. But anyway, that's a great figure. This is an absolutely stunning, stunning, stunning piece. And you have to wonder, is this really where this figure is? A $350, $375 tier range figure? And I say no. I don't. I think what you're seeing right now with certain figures, there's a lot of figures that are coming up that are available on pre-order. There's a lot of figures that are being released. Remember I told you that we've had 20 figures so far in under a year, okay? In under a year, just about coming up on a year now. 20 figures in the last year for Star Wars Hot Toys that have been released. So they are coming out with, that's a lot of money. If you go ahead and multiply 20 by whatever average you want to, 250, 275, 300, whatever average you want to, that is an incredible amount of money, more money than I could afford. So for me, it doesn't matter if they put up 6,000 pre-orders. I'm still not going to be able to get 20. I'll get a lot of selection, like at the cereal aisle when I go to the supermarket, or the music store, or whatever. I love the selection. I'm not going to buy it all. But anyway, I think that that's part of it. And I think that there's ebbs and flows. This is a relatively new figure that came out. And they did come out with more of these than a lot of people actually thought for this Heavy Infantry Mandalorian with the subsequent batches. However, with this particular character that is going to be, for sure, appearing again in The Mandalorian Season 3. And who knows what else. And also, when you're talking about the hype for the armor that's coming out, there's going to be a lot of collectors, including myself, that are really, really going to want to display the Heavy Infantry Mandalorian with the armor and with Din Djarin. And I think that this figure all day long is a mid $400 tier range figure, especially as we get closer or we get into season 3 of The Mandalorian. And you have to wonder, what is the long-term prospect? I think right now there's just some ebbs and flows, and that's why you're seeing it where it is. Is it going to like just sink down the retail or sink down to the low 300s? No, I don't see that. I'm actually seeing it probably level off right now somewhere around 350. And then you're going to start, as the armor gets released and goes on waitlist, you're going to see the heavy infantry Mandalorian start to come up and do that. But anyway, very, very interesting right now, for sure, with this particular figure. But again, it's a real stunning piece, and still really, really high. But if you have a secondary market budget and you have the money allocated and you're really looking for this figure, right now you might be able to find it for 350, 375, and on some buy sell groups, maybe around that price too, a little bit, cheaper, and sometimes on eBay it could come up there. But I don't think it's going to last. From everything that I'm seeing and the data and everything that is forthcoming, I still believe that this figure will be a low to mid $400 tier range figure for sure. And as far as reissues, for this particular figure, this is a figure where they could go ahead and like the Mando, add the chrome plating to it, or the Beskar from the original. He's certainly going to have more wear and tear, some different marks. He might even come, depending on which way they go with the story arc. The heavy infantry Mandalorian might wind up, joining Din Djarin, and then you see the head sculpt. It'll be real interesting if they do that. If Jon Favreau will play that part, but we'll have to keep an eye on it for sure. But let's go ahead and go back to 6scalecantina.com. And let's actually go to the market alerts right above the biggest mover section. And, keep going here. So, all right, so you're seeing some stuff with Finn. Let's get into Finn. Finn Stormtrooper trending down. And Finn has gone below the $300 tier range. Now, I will tell you, for sure this is a rare figure. They didn't make very many of these Finns, this exclusive Finn, at all. But let's go to the market value chart. And remember, you could always sort from highest to lowest by clicking the arrow in the current value column. You could also just type in. So I'm going to type in Finn, see what pops up, and you get 2. So here's Finn Disguise. Wow, $288 and trending down. I got to get another sip of coffee, baby. Listen, this is in my my hot container where it stays warm. Kind of like one of those travel mug type of things, but very, very crazy. Let's pull up some Finn data that I could show you. So, for instance, I'm just going to pull this up, and you're seeing this all day with listings. This figure is not selling. Here's a listing right now. Look at this price. It's outstanding. It's 25 watchers, $269.99, essentially $270. Very, very low shipping on this, somewhere around $10, $15, I think, something like that, probably $10. Very, very good seller. Amazing positive feedback. Close to 1,500, and it's just not moving. There's been a ton of listings around 300, 299, 280, and a lot of these listings for this figure at $500, $600 plus. Even though it is a rare figure, and it is a rare figure, it's just not fetching that price. That is not, where this is right now is a good price. This is where this is at, and a little bit under from really where the trend is. And you have to wonder, what is going on with a figure that's rare like that? And really, is it something that is long term? And there's a couple of factors, and we're going to go into some other things that are going on within the sequel trilogy with the main characters anyway. And I think that there's so there's so many figures that you can get for Star Wars Hot Toys within the secondary market. You have so many pre-orders and figures that are coming out. And I think the buzz right now is on the Mandalorian and all the upcoming content. And, it's not on the sequel trilogy because those movies have come out and those movies are done. And there's a plethora of characters to choose from. And that's what you're seeing there. What about the long term for that figure? Is that figure going to go back up into the $400 tier range, close to the $500 tier range? You have to wonder, because it all depends on what happens with the way people feel about the sequel trilogy in years to come. You saw it with the prequels. There was a lot of mixed reactions to those films, especially the first two. And then years later, they're very, very coveted. And I love the prequels. And I like the sequels too. And I think it's very possible that this figure will go back up because I think that Jon Favreau and Dave Filoni are going to do so many things where, whether they retcon some things with the sequels or actually just expand on it or create a multiverse and expand. I absolutely believe that's what they do it in DC. They've done it in the Arrowverse. They do it in Marvel. And is it possible they're going to go ahead and actually do it with all the live action content, movies and live action shows for Star Wars? And I say absolutely they're going to do that. I'm bringing in great actors like John Boyega, Oscar Isaac, Daisy Ridley, Adam Driver back into the mix with some of the things with the methodology that Jon Favreau or Dave Filoni will do. Will be a nice, could be a nice recipe to tie a lot of things in. Obviously, we'll have to see that for sure. But holding that thought, that's what I think's going on with all of those. And the same thing with all those troopers. Let's talk about that. The Sith Trooper does okay. That's actually sought after. It sells right under retail, right at retail, that particular figure. And that's right now, after all the controversy. And as time goes by, will that figure maybe continue to rise? It probably will. All those First Order troopers, way, way down. But if Filoni and Favreau work their magic and they decide to have that look, maybe the look will be different on some of those troopers within an expanded universe, or maybe they'll be the same. I venture to think that they'll actually be the same. To kind of tie things in. Just change the story a little bit in an alternate universe. Then you're going to see those figures in years to come be sought after. And you have to wonder, really the question to me right now, though, on anything sequel trilogy when it comes to Star Wars Hot Toys, is what about these figures right here? Let me just pull it up on the screen, and so you can see. Remember, these are the iconic characters from the original trilogy. Mark Hamill, Luke Skywalker, Carrie Fisher, Leia Organa, Harrison Ford, and Han Solo. And regardless of what you think, or what I think, or what anyone thinks about the sequels, this is still Harrison Ford as Han Solo. And that's still Carrie Fisher as Leia Organa. And that's still Luke Skywalker. That's still Mark Hamill as Luke Skywalker. And there's going to come a point as time continues to pass, and it's starting to happen now, where it's not so much about the sequel trilogy and not so much all what I felt about this and what I felt about that. It's more about these characters. It's more about capturing Luke Skywalker at an older age where he's actually holding a lightsaber and actually wins a fight. Or Han Solo in his older age, or Carrie Fisher. And I think because these characters are so iconic, regardless of what the feelings are about the sequels, it's more about the characters and having these particular actors in this likeness portrayed. And let's face it, Harrison Ford is not getting any younger. And I think that this is, there might be something coming up in the future, but this is what you have. And you have to wonder about some of the supposed unreleased footage they have of Harrison Ford, Carrie Fisher, and Mark Hamill together. And even I heard with Billy D. Williams as Lando Calrissian in, some scenes that they're going to come out with, in the future on Disney Plus. And also you have to wonder, what is Jon Favreau or Dave Filoni going to do? Is it possible that in an alternate timeline that Luke doesn't die and that Luke's actually alive and he stays in on that multiverse anyway as like a Ian McKellen Gandalf character, like all through the Hobbits and all through the Lord of the Rings, or like a Patrick Stewart or Professor X in so many of the X-Men? And I say yes. I think they're going to figure out a way in an alternate reality or an alternate universe that Luke Skywalker is alive. Because they absolutely have to explain Grogu. And I think it's going to be a lot of fun to have these different timelines and these different possibilities. When it comes about it, is it possible? Really look at what, Dave Filoni and Jon Favreau have been doing. And they're really showing us that it is possible as Star Wars fans for a lot of this stuff. But really, what does that mean for these Hot Toys figures? And, you're starting to see within the secondary market, and let me go ahead and pull up some recent data on that. So, going back, and let me show you what's going on. We talked about Leia Bespin a lot the last week on a couple of shows. That figure is skyrocketing. And now the Leia Endor is skyrocketing, and so is the Leia and Wicket 2-pack. And now you're starting to see, out of nowhere, but I'm not surprised because I knew that this was coming, you're starting to see Leia from The Last Jedi slowly creep up. And right here you can see, back from July 5th, $228.26, not including the near $50 in U.S. shipping, not including taxes. So really, this figure here going for more about $260 right here. Let me pull up some other data. And, I'm going to pull this up on the screen. And I'm going to include Chewbacca in this mix as well. And I'm going to explain that in just a second. You could look back here from the end of June, basically. $601, not including the shipping for this 2-pack for Han Solo and Chewbacca. And I am starting to see, not only with the Han Solo from The Force Awakens, but with the Chewbacca from The Force Awakens, I'm starting to see a lot of signs. Just like I was seeing the signs that The Last Jedi Kylo was starting to sink and the Finn was starting to sink, and that the Heavy Infantry Mandalorian was starting to sink. I'm seeing it all over the place with these iconic original trilogy characters. Now, before I go on, let's go ahead and address how The Force Awakens Chewbacca is horrible. Because that's not entirely true. It looks like some of them are. And it looks like some of them aren't. I wonder if there's different batches. And I wonder if it's just the way you display it. I'll pull this up over here. And there's been a lot of, conversation about this. But, this Chewbacca does not look bad at all, and the jaw is articulated. And I think if you play with the hair, it looks great. And I think people are starting to take, get wind of that. And let me pull up another one here on this Chewbacca, Han and Chewbacca. Well, that's the same one. Let me pull up a different one. And, you could look at this one right here. And again, pretty darn good. Pretty darn good. And you have to wonder if there was like maybe some different batches, and maybe it's kind of a crapshoot, if you're going to buy it, what it looks like, or really if you just got to play with it. But at the end of the day, really putting Chewbacca aside, I just wanted to point out that depending on what batch you get, or depending on how you do it, it looks pretty good. And you get the articulated jaw. Maybe that's the part of it, and the way you position it. Maybe in one way it doesn't look good. Who knows? I don't have it. But as far as the Han Solo figure, and as far as the Leia Organa figure, and as far as Luke Crate, and let's go ahead and go to the market value chart at 6scalecantina.com, and let's actually put in, within the market value chart, let's put in these characters and see exactly where they are within the secondary market. So let's go ahead and put in Leia. And you can see right here that Leia the Last Jedi, $243 and rising. Wow. Let's go ahead and actually put in, let's put in Luke. Let's see if I put in Crate Luke, because that's the one that's really moving. Oops. Probably spelled Crate wrong. Yeah, I did. Let's put it in the right way. There you go. There's Luke Crate. $306 and rising. Let's go ahead and put in Han. And you can see the Han and Chewbacca from The Force Awakens. $598 and rising. Wow. And Han Solo, The Force Awakens, right now steady at $323. And, for me, I think what's happening here is, again, I'm going to point this out, that, what is the long-term prospect for the Lukes, especially the Crate Luke, the Force Awakens Luke, the Leia from The Last Jedi, Han Solo from The Force Awakens? I'm going to say it again. The dust is starting to settle on the sequels. And people are really happy with the direction that Star Wars is going. And regardless of what you think of the sequels, Harrison Ford, Mark Hamill, Carrie Fisher are iconic characters. And to get them within your collection, regardless of what you think of the sequels, is something that I think more and more collectors are going to be looking to do. And to kind of show the before, this is how they were, this is them at an older age. It's more about that. It's more about the characters, the actors, than it is about how you feel about the sequels. And you're going to start seeing those figures, I believe, trend up and up and up in a slow burn. And you have to wonder, what is the prospect then if they do have old footage of all of them sitting together? And they had all of, and even if they have some with Billy D. Williams, wow. I don't know where I heard that. That might not be accurate, but just getting those three, it'll bring it up even more. And what about time? Just like what time has done for the prequels, that's going to have an effect as well. And especially if they go ahead and they do any alternate universes or retcon some things through an alternate universe, is it possible that these particular figures here are not only going to rise in price, but be very, very highly sought after, because it's Luke, Leia, and Han, baby? And I say yes. So, as far as from a long term for me, that's what I think. And really, when I display these, as you're seeing here, it is so much not to do with the sequels, as so much more and everything for me to do with Luke with the lightsaber, Leia, and Han, all those years later. I'm basically creating the scene myself, baby. And I think that that's what you're seeing. Look, even the hobo Luke within the secondary market, which had all kinds of shipping coupons and stuff in, is starting to show signs of rising. I mentioned it earlier in this show, that everything Luke right now is hot. It's not just Return of the Jedi Luke, that everybody wants to meet in, match for, Grogu scene. that is a part of it with that figure. But Luke is very, very highly sought after. You see that with the A New Hope Luke, the Farm Boy Luke, and you're certainly seeing it with that Stormtrooper Luke, which is really showing signs of rising. I think we're going to have some data, enough data on that soon to have that be moving within a upcoming episode here very, very shortly. But yeah, that's my thoughts on these figures for sure. Again, I think that it's going to be very, very interesting to track where these go within the secondary market. But I am telling you right now that, in the future, these particular figures right here are going to be fetching some big bucks for sure. So as we do with every market outlook edition of the Market Value Chart Show, we're going to head on over to Sideshow, baby, and see what's going on best-selling wise for Hot Toys. So let's go ahead and do that right now. And pulling that up onto the screen. And let's see what the aftermath is from all these releases that are coming out that were announced over the last couple of weeks. And I'm going to go ahead and sort it out best-selling wise. And I'm going to sort it out best-selling wise with everything for sure. And here we go, popping that up on the screen. And right now it's recommended. Let's go best sellers. And look at this. Wow. Wow. Even with the Iron Man Mark I, which looks like an outstanding figure. It is so hard not to break into the Marvel verse of Hot Toys. Wow. Any of these Hot Toys. They're all good. But even with that Mark I and that Boba Fett on the throne, number 1, Mandalorian Deluxe and Non-Deluxe with the chrome plated armor and the head sculpt of Pedro Pascal. And I brought it up on the live episode from this past Friday. Again, if you didn't get a chance to watch that with the panel guests that I had on, I totally recommend it because we really dived into some of the reasoning, some of the things that Hot Toys is doing, which is making me very happy as a Star Wars fan, is they're not just releasing figures, but there's a pattern now where they're releasing iconic moments, which is really what I'm looking for as a Star Wars Hot Toys collector. But look it up here on the screen where that Boba Fett and the throne is. First 3 are Mandalorian, and even the Boba Fett without the throne. Wow, right there. You can just go ahead and see that. But let me now go ahead and sort this out. Just Star Wars. And pulling this up. And there you go. Now it's just Star Wars. And look at that. Wow. Absolutely crazy. Boba Fett and the throne. The 501st, which got such positive reviews and final production photos and those subsequent reviews. Cannot wait to get my hands on that deluxe version of the 501st. Coming soon, baby. Coming soon. Look at those clone troopers. Look at that hunter. Yeah, high up there. Look at those Beskar Mandalorians. Look, you would have thought that they would sink down to where the blurg is. And people want their Mandos. It's going to be very, very interesting to see when these Beskar Mandalorians actually hit waitlist. It would seem like there's so many of these that it's going to take forever and a day. Not sure though. I mean, that's all. They've been up there for a long time, and as they fulfill all of these pre-orders, it's going to be interesting where that goes for sure. And look at the deluxe Boba Fett and the Clone Wars Ahsoka. I mean, deluxe Boba Fett was number 1 for a while. For a while. This one right here, and now it's at that price. $495, and this Boba Fett and the throne and without the throne absolutely catapulted this back up, and that is absolutely crazy. But what I want to go over here is they're capturing moments. They're capturing moments in these releases, and wow. As far as what people think of the throne and the moments they caught here, you can see by how it's selling. It's not a fad. It's what we want. These are the epic characters. But let me try and pull some stuff here on the screen. So when they went ahead and put this out, and let's see if I could find. Yeah, here we go. Let me pull this up. This is an epic moment, guys and gals. This is an epic moment. And Hot Toys absolutely nailed it and captured it. And look at that. Fennec Shand looks to be all complete. And is it possible that over the next month that we're going to get this Fennec, like real soon, within weeks? And I say yes. Look, I already got the texts from the Hot Toys Wizard and from the Hot Toys Wizard's mouth. This Fennec Shand is incoming, baby, and I absolutely can't wait to get it. But why? Why is it that I can't wait to get it? And the reason is because they gave me a legacy character. They gave me Boba Fett. It doesn't matter that he was in The Mandalorian. What matters is Filoni and Favreau put Boba Fett back into Star Wars, and that's an original trilogy character. And this is what, as an original trilogy in a Star Wars freakazoid, which is what I am, this is what I want. So now you've got me interested in Fennec Shand, and especially how she looks here. I absolutely am going to spill my coffee, baby, when they announce this figure. And I'm telling you right now that this figure is coming in very, very short order. Wow. And they're capturing a scene. Again, watch the live episode from just a few days ago. These are the moments that it has so much more to do with me. This is what it means as a Star Wars fan. Filoni and Favreau knew exactly what they were doing when they did this scene, and they dared to follow this up with Luke Skywalker. He just returned, and it worked. And I was talking about that. And it's something to really, really keep in mind. For sure. Let me pull up some other stuff over here to show some other things that they're doing. This is another epic scene. Another moment in time. For a lot of people that are, Clone Wars fans or, Ahsoka fans, and they wanted some of the Filoni-verse, within, the Mandalorian. And, they captured a moment in time which put a smile on a lot of people's faces. And even people who really didn't know what Ahsoka was, just, looking at their brothers and sisters in Star Wars, being like, oh, you seem so excited. I want to find out about that character as well. And then all of a sudden, you're getting people really, really interested. And look, everybody's interested in Grogu because Ahsoka's interested in Grogu. Luke is interested in Grogu. The Emperor is interested in Grogu, which means everybody is interested in Grogu. Your new Mickey Mouse. Let's bring up something else. Starting to get hyped up here, baby. Just talking about it. Just talking about it. They did this. They captured this moment. This whole moment, this whole scene put tears in my eyes. And I heard from a lot of you that did the same thing. This is now an epic, iconic character. Din Djarin, the Mandalorian, portrayed by Pedro Pascal, and they captured this moment. These are the type of releases that I want from Hot Toys. You want to go ahead and give me the Frog Lady? You want to go ahead and give me Cobb Vanth? Bring it on now, because you're giving me what I want. Bring up something else. They're capturing these moments. And they captured this, which meant a ton to see Tamora Morrison on an angle at the end of episode 1 of season 2 of The Mandalorian. And then to see him, Boba Fett, back in the robes. It didn't matter he didn't have the armor. And he's using that stick to absolutely dismantle those stormtroopers, and then he goes ahead and gets his armor back, and he puts it on as a Star Wars fan that wants to see the original trilogy, and wants to see the prequel characters, and wants to see some of the expanded universe and some of the animated characters. This gets me hyped up, and now I'm interested in some of these new characters that you're trying to shove on me, and it doesn't really feel like it's shoved because they're giving me this fan service. Remember what George Lucas's original vision was for some of the sequel stuff was to bring back Darth Maul and Boba Fett, baby. And Filoni and Favreau are certainly doing that. And this is what it's all about. I don't care if the label's Mandalorian, or if the label's the Lando series, or the Andor series, or this series. Look, this is what I'm talking about. This is where it's at. This is what I want as a Star Wars fan. And is it possible that Fennec is coming? And I said yes. So what is the next iconic and epic moment that's going to be coming any second? And you heard it here from the Dark Jedi, Aries Tarrington, serving up all the Star Wars Hot Toys talk. And I say this. This is the next one. They're basically telling you, we are putting this out. They're not going to wait till all the hype of the book of Boba Fett. Oh, by the way, here's Luke. We're concentrating on the Andor series and this series and the Obi-Wans. This is coming now, baby. I got coffee brewing, and this is coming out. Look, and they're probably going to put this out. Why not put it out with the Bespin Luke at the same time? Why not a Hoth Luke? You don't think that they won't do that? Look at all the Lukes in the secondary market. And I'm telling you right now that they notice that. And they pay attention to a lot of the videos and a lot of the talk out there for Hot Toys. And this is 1000% coming. This is another moment in time that they are going to capture. And I absolutely can't wait. Remember what I told you guys going back, just several months ago, that the Star Wars Hot Toys that are, available at Sideshow, that list is going to look way, way different come this time. And it looks completely different. So, in closing, it is an absolutely phenomenal time to be a Star Wars fan and collect Hot Toys for sure. Please go ahead and hit that like button if you enjoy the content. And please go ahead and subscribe to the channel. I so very much appreciate your support. And if you like what you watched here today, and you want some expanded analysis on some of the secondary market trends, some of the numbers, and some of my thoughts, especially on what we talked about today, I'm going to be coming out with an insider video that's going to discuss a little bit more in depth about the prospects of the sequel trilogy figures, especially the Han, Leia, and Luke. You may want to consider becoming a Cantina insider. Just look at that join button within the channel, click it, see if it comes with what you would like, and if you're interested, you may want to consider it. Remember, I will be live once again this coming Sunday at 8 p.m. Eastern with Aries Tarrington is live and raw. And I'll be serving up all the Star Wars Hot Toys talk. And with all of you on the panel, that's what Live and Raw is all about. So it'll be just me and myself doing one of these live. And I absolutely can't wait to do that. So book that on your calendars. It's also this Friday. I'll be live at 9 p.m. Eastern. It'll be Dante from the Man of Hot Collectibles' turn on his live show. I look forward to hanging out with you all there as well. All the social media I participate in and I have for here, it's in the link. The links are within the video description below. Remember, I don't always buy coffee out, but when I do, I buy from 6 Scale Cantina. Stay thirsty, my friends.